Hey guys, well, this is not a train update or a model railroading update. Now, this is a build update that I've been doing. Actually, let's bring in the other vehicles here. Well, the other one that's actually finished, because I've got two over there that are still not even finished yet. These are two early Iraq War Operation Enduring Freedom 2004 through 2008 era vehicles. To the left here, you have a M923 hillbilly gun truck, which we will get that momentarily. And to the right is an M996 Humvee with a 50 cal attachment to it and countermeasure attachments. So we're going to talk about the M996 first, and we'll get to the cool truck. So this one right here started as a Roco Mini Tanks M996 tow missile Humvee, and if you're not familiar with a tow missile attachment is, it's a anti-tank missile that actually I have an example of one. This is another one that I'm working on for the Marine Corps. This is a tow missile attachment, so you can see the anti-tank missile tube right here versus a 50 cal turret, which is right here. And real quick, how you can distinguish U.S. Marine Corps vehicles from U.S. Army vehicles, from what some friends of mine have told me who are in the service, is you have this this high-mounted exhaust pipe coming off the side of the truck, and that's how you can really tell this is a Marine Corps vehicle. And of course, it's in the Continental camouflage paint scheme. It's missing its wheels because they're at the shop. I need to go pick them up here. But this one, I opened up the driver's side door and the passenger side, both the driver's side doors and the rear door, revealing attachments. It's really kind of hard to see because it's so dark, but it's a really badass little truck. So this one right here, what we did to this one, let me grab my handy dandy tweezers here. I took countermeasures off a Roco Mini Tanks Abrams kit. Cut them down kind of because they were a little on the large side. They still are a little on the large side, but they get the point across. I mounted them on each side, and then on the side here, if you notice, there's actually a platform that I built to level them out off prototype photos, and they're sitting on the platforms. This is a slanted rear, and then I use piano wire to do the three communications antenna arrays. The 50 cal is, the gun itself is from Roco Mini Tanks, but the gun turret shields are scratch built from styrene, and that one took me about an hour and a half to do. Now, one thing that was really noticeable on this front turret is to the left side here, it's kind of angled inward. I'm not exactly sure why it's like that. If any of the vets who watch this know why, please comment on why this is an angled shield and why it's got this strange indentation out and then upward. I'm not really sure why they do that, but that's what this truck has, and it turned out pretty cool. I might be doing some more of these here pretty soon now that I've figured out the recipe on how to do it. And as you notice, the end of the shield is also slanted. Now, a buddy of mine who served in the Iraq War told me that they slanted everything because it helps deflect bullets better. And at first I was like, nah, that seems really stupid. That's ridiculous sounding. And then I started thinking about more, and I was like, oh yeah, that sounds about right. Now, the only difference between this truck and the one he used in Iraq was this has the X-mounted doors, and his were these solid pieces of sheet metal that they've mounted on the sides. And I like these Humvees so much, I didn't have the balls to actually do that. So the next Humvee I get, I'll really armor the hell out of it, and then it'll be an escort to this one. And then, of course, it has the snorkel mount on the front right here like he had on his. So, you know, just basic little stuff here and there. And I think the other one, what I'm going to end up doing is the hood will actually be camouflaged and the rest will be tan. Now, let's get on to this. Now, the history on these trucks date back, the history of the gun truck itself dates back to the Vietnam War and even some World War II stuff from what I've read about. but these hillbilly gun trucks are built off of a M923 A1 chassis or truck. The cabs came in two different variants. You had a soft top cab, which that's what's represented here because I removed it, and then you had a hard top. Now, if it was soft top, you would see the turret. If it was a hard top, you would see nothing there. There'd just be a cab. These trucks, if you can get these trucks surplus from government liquidations or Army surplus dealers and stuff like that for around $3,000, even cheaper sometimes. I've gotten a chance to drive one of these, and they have no armor. So imagine being in Iraq in the middle of an invasion, driving around with an unarmored truck just like that Humvee. I wouldn't want to be doing that. So what they ended up doing was these servicemen ended up getting anything they could, mostly junk sheet metal. And they would make these makeshift sheet metal attachments to go on the sides of the doors to protect the drivers and the gunners. And they would also create these big elaborate boxes to go around the bed. And this is actually based off of 2 or 3 different prototype photos I found, because I've seen these trucks in tan and the NATO woodland continental camouflage. Now, they of course had to get into the truck. Now, how would you do that? I've seen some that actually have ladders on the side. They would jump up on the wheel and climb up the steps and get on in to a solid box. Then I saw some where you would still enter into the back, because these are standard troop carrier trucks to start out with. And they'd have a gun shield here, or just a standard shield. They'd be held up by 2 brackets that I represented using styrene. And there'd be a little opening. They'd come in here and be able to mount on their 50 cal or M249 or the 240 Bravo or Mark 19 grenade launcher or something. And yes, I know about guns, so I can name off all these guns. The interior of the truck was represented to look like a combat-ready truck. Same for the Humvee. And we can notice, let's see here. We've got different things. We've got a cooler. We've got munitions cans. We've got jerry cans. We've got bags of different shapes and sizes. We've got more munitions cans and things like that in the bottom bed. And then on the 50 cal shield in the rear, I've seen 90% of the photos I saw, they were homemade shields. So I represented that by painting the shield just a rust-colored gray. So, and then that's also a scratch build turret. And then the gun turret in the front is the exact same gun turret used on the Humvee mount, and it's just a sheet of styrene. Now, the other cool thing about these trucks was I saw they would have these big, elaborate-looking bumpers made out of mortar tubes, tank tubes, or whatever other pipe and attachments they could find. Well, I looked, and this is currently the smallest diameter pipe, and that's way too big for that truck. So I decided, I've seen some without it and some with, so I left mine without. And then the other thing I did was, there we go, pop that open. I did a total detail job on the interior, added some wires and stuff, painted it, weathered it, made it look cool, and it is now a combat-ready truck. So I'll definitely be doing another one of these. The next one I'll be doing will be a very similar truck, in a sense, but it'll be all woodland continental camouflage with a tan hood, and it'll also have the big bumper post attachment. I'll be doing probably like 3 or 4 of these trucks in different variants, just because I really like these builds. They're really fun builds, and it gives me something more than just the trains. And also, it's my next locomotive build, a SW10. But we'll get to that on another video. Thank you, Derek. And also, I want to put a shout out to him. He sent me this River Point Station military police truck. That's pretty awesome, because I've got a buddy of mine who's NMP, so that's a really cool addition. The truck is totally detailed to prototype photos. I've got the jerry can right there that you usually see with its little holster. The inside bench seating's been painted. It's got all the correct detailing, and the only thing I gotta do to it is add I've got to add the reporting marks to the bumper, to the two front bumpers, and to the rear pieces are right there, and then give it a little bit more of a weathering job, some black powders and some tan powders, and call it done. But eventually I will add HO scale figures to it, military figures. This is the only one I currently have, which is right here. But he's walking with his rifle, so I'm not going to add him. I'll add another figure to it. Another set of figures, because I'll add a driver, a gunner, and a gunner. So I'll have a complete crew on this truck. But I want to give a shout out to all of my veteran friends who watched my videos and who I reached out to and was able to basically pick their brains on what they saw and what they did with these trucks. I know a lot of these vets that they don't really like talking about the war, and I understand that. But I couldn't build this truck without them, so thank you a lot. But that's it for now, guys. It's snowing here. It's cold as balls, so I'm gonna warm up and try not to freeze to death. But thanks, guys. Have a good one.